Mima obi biara akwaba be med by channel esu ebusuan onya subscribe am sɛ no me subscriber team no ɛso ɛde aman na de ɛkɔso ɔman konkron Ghana no yɛde betuma wo so wanya bi ahwɛ no hu sɛ de obetu ɛyɛ wana mo ebusuan anu ahyɛ wadwen so ɛwɔ yɛ comment section hɔ no ɛde aman na de ɛkɔso nyina no yɛnso yɛtumi ɛde abrɛ na nsɛm bi aba betɔ ɛmonten so a na kyɛ sɛ ne ewiewie yɛde brɛ mu ne nyina ɛne sɛ ɛyɛ Paul adom ɔkyere ɛna kyɛ sɛ ɔne ɛyɛ Bernard Avile ɛyɛ interview bi a na kyɛ sɛ ɛnyɛ asɛm ketewa akɔ ebusuan questions ahorow a mo bisa ɛyɛ Paul adom ɔkyere no ɛnyɛ asɛm ketewa koraa na me nsɛw no yɛbɛkɔ ne akɔkɔtie nsɛm no na ɛnyɛ de a ɔno so obiara nso betumi ebisa saa questions no ebi because questions no ebusuan ano ɛyɛ die pa nti mɛsɛ sɛ ɔbɛka me ho ne akɔkɔtie questions no ne yɛba a mede mo ayɛ nyinaa aba bɛsɔ so
invited to go and answer questions.
No, I wasn't. And I think at the outset...
Were you surprised when you were invited to go and answer questions?
No, I wasn't. And I think at the outset, we have to say that the OSP has the right to investigate the things he has to investigate.
Okay.
He is an appointee of state, and he's paid by taxpayers' money to try and reduce corruption or to eradicate corruption altogether. The bill, OSP bill that went to Parliament, talked about how, in spite of the Office of the Attorney General, there should be still another agency, and many people agreed with it. So the OSP has a right to do his work all the time. There's no questions about it. But yes, we have been critical of some of the things he had done, and he had also been upset about some of our criticisms, some of which were expressed directly in person and all of that. So yes, we are aware that maybe somebody there is not happy, but we don't think that because somebody is not happy, he will prosecute you wrongly. If we are thinking that there's something wrong, then it's based on the facts that came to us. So yes, we do not think the OSP does not have the right to invite me or any other Ghanaian. And so when he invited me to show up last week, Thursday, my lawyers wrote back to him that there are two senior lawyers who would have represented me, but they are not available. So can we reschedule for the next Monday? They wrote back a very stern letter saying that you cannot reschedule, you have to come. So I went. So yes, I respect the OSP's power to investigate and to prosecute where he finds something to prosecute.
Manasseh Azuri had made some posts around some procurement matters in which he referenced the Ghana Airport Company and also mentioned your name. Do you think that influenced the whole decision to invite you?
I wouldn't know. I spoke to Manasseh personally about it. He sent me some questions. I understand that he's published them, but I don't know how the OSP does his work. And the OSP has power to investigate, so I really wouldn't know. But the OSP still has power within himself to conduct his own investigations.
But would a write-up by a prominent journalist, which then sort of raises questions for you in the public, not, I won't want to use the word prejudice because that probably predated the invitation, but obviously that contributes to the build-up, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, Manasseh's concern was about SML, and Manasseh's story was really that this SML has metamorphosed itself into something at Ghana Airport, and so Ghana Airport people would know how that metamorphosis occurred, which I think is fair, but I don't know whether the OSP invited me because of that.
But he also says that the current, the contract for which the Ghana Airport Company needs to answer questions is actually a transmogrification of SML. He actually says that it's the same people. There's a different name, but it's like the same principles. So clearly, he's sort of drawing a link between the SML deal and then a contract that the Ghana Airport Company awarded to this company, which he believes an offshoot, for which he believes you knew, because he claims you had a meeting with him or spoken to him, where you sort of said you had even met the people the night before sometime. So we are not dealing with Manasseh here, but it seems to be the same case that has changed into GSCL, correct?
I don't know whether it's the same case. So. It may have similarities, but I don't know whether it's the same case because the OSP's letter had a reason why you've been invited. Corruption-related offenses and public procurement breaches relating to this contract.
Okay.
It's straight and fair. It doesn't make any reference to any investigations by journalists.
But do they establish why, as board chair, you should have any questions to answer on a deal like this?
They don't, and I was saying that is how we felt that there has to be some difficulty with this, because why would you invite a board chair? I heard listening to your sister, another station on Saturday, Madam Vicky Bright, a corporate governance expert, was expressing wonder why a board chair will be invited for either procurement breaches or... So when they say corruption and corruption-related offenses, that itself does not capture any offense, but all the offenses come under it. So there's stealing, there's causing financial loss to the state. Clearly, this is not a matter of causing financial loss to the state, because no money had been paid, no loss had been occasioned, absolutely no money had been paid. And then there's also procurement breaches, which has nothing to do with board, because the public procurement law identifies the entity head, the CEO, as the people they deal with. I, as board chairman, never wrote any letter to public procurement. I never engaged public procurement. There were several procurements, as I have told the OSP in the interrogation, that the board is not even aware of. The board doesn't need to know. So procurement, board and procurement, it sounds incongruous, but investigative authorities know what they are doing. So this was a contract about revenue assurance. Now, the Minister for Transport at the time had told us that we needed to develop other ways of making money for the airports. They call it non-aeronautical ways of making money for the airport. So the aeronautical ways are the plane ticket and all of that. Non-aeronautical are maybe shops, people have shops, how much you charge them, and it was a big concern. The cargo area was also a concern, and management and board knows about this. So the concern about the cargo area question was, are you really making the money you should be making from the cargo area as an airport? So if you take this Skywater, for instance, if it comes in from elsewhere abroad, it comes to the airport, is cleared by an agent, and then the agent, when he clears it, they tell Ghana Airport Company what business has been done, and out of that, a calculation of the commissions or whatever they pay to Ghana Airport Company is determined. There was a suspicion that perhaps the Ghana Airport Company is not getting what it should get. So this was about people coming to do a presentation to the airport company and say that I have the technology to be able to give you in real time what you should be getting. So they were told that, okay, let's develop it further, work with management, and let's see. And then we told them at the outset that the bad news we have for them, though, is that we don't have money to pay. We can't pay. So they will have to do the work. And if they are successful at the work, then we can think of a commission for them. But to pay them, we can't. Okay, so that's the beginning. So they said, okay, well, no problem. They are confident that they'll be able to do the work. So they take the systems of Ghana Airport historically, maybe the last 3 months, how much did you receive? They do some algorithm analysis and tell you that you could have received this when you were getting this. Okay, so they work together with the management. They come back to the board and do a second presentation. In the presentation, they show us really fantastic figures of what we are losing. And we all are overwhelmed that, are they really serious that this is true? And they said, yeah, this is true. But these are very young men who seem to be very IT savvy. So this is what the whole contract's about. So the contract's about, okay, so give them the right now to do this assessment. Now, how anyone will know that the board was doing absolute fidelity to the company is that this contract, if it's successful, will gain more revenue for the company. But in doing the contract preparations, we were all sure that we will not be there by the time the success occurs. So when the success comes, whoever is in charge of GACL at the time will take credit for it. We were aware
of that. It was a long-term contract.
Yeah, we were aware of that. So in fact, the contract was signed, apparently, as I found out, on 4th December. Because we had finished our work. The last meeting we had, I think, was in August. Something, can you take this further? Okay, they take it further. Management comes back and say, board.
So this was like they came to you. It wasn't like you had opened something. They found a problem and said they wanted to solve it.
No, we were looking for people to solve the problem.
Okay.
So one presentation came, so we listened to it. As far as we are concerned, listening to the presentation at the board stage is preliminary. No commitments have been made. There's absolutely no problem. We can listen to 10 presentations and don't proceed with it and proceed with one. At that stage, it is when you are beginning to procure the service. It is then that there's a commitment. So we listened to the presentation. We said, okay, management, work with them, let's see. They came back and said, it looks like they have a story to tell. Let's hear them. We heard them. And then we said, okay, go ahead and work it out. Go ahead and work it out means management always knows what to do with that, because the board is just a supervisory and say, we think this is good, look at it. Management may well come back and say, well, there was some information that you didn't have. Let's give it to you and see whether you still think this is good. All of those things. So